Hey guys, welcome back to Geek Space. Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 has finally released, and while it's not the final chapter, it has been very well received by the fanbase. But is it really worth the hype? Today I'm going to be sharing what I liked and what I didn't like to discover the answer to that very question. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the intro, because it is definitely the strongest opening of any of the chapters so far. It immediately throws you into an intense Huggy Wuggy chase scene that mirrors Chapter 1 in the best way possible, reminding us exactly why we first fell in love with this franchise in the first place. Just when you think you're safe, he comes back. That fake sense of relief makes the second encounter hit even harder. Then it ends with Huggy Wuggy literally stealing our GrabPack, our only tool. In one moment, the game strips you of control, and from that point on, you know this chapter is not messing around. After we lose our GrabPack, we need to find a new one, and we start collecting new hands. I will say, the Omni Hand was a huge letdown. It was built up as the master key to the entire facility, only to be taken away from us before we can even really use it. The missed potential is crazy, but the new hands we get are actually pretty interesting. The first is the pressure hand, which allows you to increase pressure to push heavy objects, press specific buttons, or break obstacles. It's a fun and unique mechanic, I like it. Another hand is the Conductive Hand. This one feels like an evolution of the green hand, better in concept but slightly worse in execution. It feels much less satisfying to use, but we can now manipulate not only electricity, but fire and ice. It's a really cool idea. Overall, these new hands definitely add more variety to the puzzles, and make the game a lot more interesting. Speaking of puzzles, the first half of the game is literally just puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and honestly, it gets exhausting. It starts to feel like you're just solving challenges for the sake of solving them. You're not progressing through the story in a meaningful way, you're not learning anything new, you're just stuck in rooms figuring things out. Now, this might be a skill issue, but I thought that they were way too difficult because they aren't properly communicated to the player. There were multiple moments where I was genuinely thinking, how was I supposed to know that? A good puzzle should be challenging, but should also feel fair. It should make you feel smart when you solve it. These just didn't. Instead of feeling accomplished, I just felt relieved it was over, and that's not the same thing. Going back to another positive though, the environments in Chapter 5 look absolutely stunning. Now, I still don't think anything tops Playcare. That area is honestly one of my favourite set pieces in the entire franchise, maybe even in gaming as a whole. But Chapter 5 definitely feels like the most visually polished entry so far. Lily's oversized dollhouse is especially creepy. The lighting is stronger, the textures are sharper, and everything feels more detailed and alive. The same goes for the animations. They're smoother and more fluid, and far more lifelike than anything in previous chapters. Visually, the series is at one of its peaks. But of course, environments are only as good as they are because of the characters that inhabit them. So let's talk about the characters now. So don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not a huge fan of Giblet or Chum Starting off with Giblet, I expected him to be this wise, mysterious, almost mentor type toy. Instead, he's more of a chaotic little gremlin character. And that's not necessarily bad, it's just not what I was expecting. His design is fine, but it doesn't really impact the story in a meaningful way. He just kind of exists. And in a chapter that leans so heavily on isolation and tension, giving the player another companion actually softens that atmosphere. Then there's his friend, Chum. Funny name aside, I'm not sold on his design. A lot of people online absolutely love it, and that's totally fair, but it doesn't really feel like a natural fit for Poppy Playtime's visual identity. If you remove the fur, he'd look almost like something you'd see out of Garten of Banban. Some of the fan designs I've seen actually lean even harder into the franchise's established style, especially versions that use stronger colour contrast, like blue accents to make him pop. Those designs feel way more cohesive with the world. Isn't this so much better? As for the other characters, they are so much stronger, starting with Lily Lovebraids. I'll admit, I and many others hated her in the trailer, but in the actual game, she's incredible. She's constantly cheerful in this deeply unsettling way, stuck in a permanent childlike state, hosting tea parties and talking to her dolls, whilst everything around her feels wrong. When she was human, she was Miss Gracie, essentially the Miss Rachel of Playtime Co., brainwashing children into believing that being a toy is better, and that they were always meant to be toys. After the Hour of Joy, the prototype transformed her into Lily, and isolated her for 410 days, forcing her to listen to her own tapes on loop. That psychological torment completely broke her. She then gained dissociate identity disorder, basically having multiple personalities. Now she's trapped in the persona she created, permanently performing. Her lore is so creepy. She even keeps her own human skeleton in her bed. Lily Lovebraids has easily become one of my favourite characters. But her death? It's so anticlimactic. She just falls and dies. I really thought we'd set her hair on fire, or she'd get hung by her hair, but she just fell. And at least you're thinking, wait, that's it? But the real centerpiece of Chapter 5, The prototype, Experiment 1006. We finally get the full reveal, and as people theorise, he takes on the persona of a jester. I was skeptical at first, but seeing it fully, he's one of my new favourite characters. Those metal spider legs, the creepy porcelain face, the hands emerging from his stomach. He even wears Catnap's fur as a coat. His design is absolutely fantastic. I love it. And the lore is just as good. Turns out, he was Oliver Ludwig, Elliot Ludwig's adopted son. The same body found in Elliot's house in Chapter 3. He is Ollie. That makes his dynamic with Poppy even creepier. They're step-siblings. And when they finally meet, he kills Huggy and Kissy on sight. It's shocking, but genuinely emotional. The prototype is without a doubt one of the best mascot horror characters of all time. He's terrifying and larger than life, but underneath it all, he's a scared, angry, pathetic child trying to assert control. That complexity makes him unforgettable. Now, I've talked a lot about how incredible the lore is in this chapter, but how is it actually delivered? Is it told to us in-game? Is it through VHS tapes? Nope, it's mostly paragraphs upon paragraphs of notes you have to read. Collecting the lore feels more like homework than playing a game. On top of that, they almost completely remove the tapes. There's maybe 3 in total, and they're really well hidden. VHS tapes have been the primary way to collect lore since Chapter 1, and to see them largely removed feels disappointing. The lore is fantastic, but the delivery leaves a lot to be desired. My final point is the ending, and wow, what an intense ride. After a long-awaited reunion between Huggy and Kissy, the prototype appears and brutally impales them. Their ultimate fates are left ambiguous, though they're last seen lying dead on the floor. The player flees on a train, leading to a high-speed chase as the prototype stalks the carriages. The train eventually explodes, with the prototype seemingly on board. But, of course, he survives. He catches up to the player, stabs him through the chest, and dumps them into a vat of Poppy gel. While we're unconscious, 1006 retrieves Poppy. Afterwards, the player and Giblet head to the factory archives to gather information on the prototype, only for the computer to power on and reveal that the Doctor is going to return. I knew he would, and the ending has me beyond excited for Chapter 6. I personally think that the Doctor will revive Huggy and Kissy, who will help us defeat the prototype once and for all. In conclusion, Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 is definitely worth the hype. The characters, visuals, lore, and story are all top tier, even if there are a few bumps along the way, like the way the lore is delivered, or the puzzle-heavy first half. Overall though, it's an incredible experience that stands alongside the other chapters as some of the best in the mascot horror genre. Alright guys, we've reached the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you thought of this chapter. Did you like it? Do you think I'm totally wrong and actually love doing mindless puzzles with no directions for the foreseeable future? Tell me in the comments down below. But anyway, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!